thing. I'm Mark Lee. Happy to see everybody here. Let me see a show of hands on how many first-timers here. 1, 2, 3. Excellent, excellent. Glad to have you here. Please come back. Additionally, who is here, even if you've been here many, many, many times, as a result of a direct personal invitation from somebody else?
Yes.
I see a bunch of hands. That's neat. Keep it up. Let's keep doing that. Great attendance today and good spirit. What this is all about is growing a culture that supports entrepreneurism through education and sharing our experiences. And so it's an exciting place to be every Wednesday morning. I have the distinct honor to introduce our next presenter, David Thomas with Ameriprise Financial, and I'm going to let him tell all of us about his entrepreneurial journey. Come on up, David.
I just want to say, Heather, oh my gosh, homeschooling, running a business, do you even sleep? That was great. As Mark said, my name is David Thomas. I own the local Ameriprise Financial franchise. And rather than telling you, well, I am going to tell you a little bit about what we do, but I want to take you through where I am now from a career changer's point of view. I was not always a dynamic salesperson that you see up here now. No, I was local, born and raised here, went to the University of Kentucky, and I graduated with a mining engineering degree. And I worked in the coal business for about 12 years, the last one being with Andalex Resources here locally, and sold out to Hopkins County Coal back in 1998. But I've worked in here, in Louisville, Canada for a couple of years. That was really neat. West Virginia. So that gave me a lot of experience to bring to what I do now. But as anybody tied in with the coal industry can tell you, it is very cyclical. Up and down, up and down. And I was a casualty of one of those down times. In May of 2000, I was informed that I no longer had a job with the company that was here. They were primarily focusing on underground mining. At being 6'6", I didn't go well in an underground mine, so I mainly did surface mine engineering for the folks. So with about 2 hours notice, I was told that I no longer had a job, no insurance, anything, so there you go. So what was I going to do next? To be honest, I was kind of tired of being in the coal business and watching it go up and down, to have people tell you whether you're going to have a job or not. So I took that summer of 2000, kind of did a little soul searching. Fortunately, we had saved a little bit of money so I could live off that. Had a fun summer though. We just got a boat the year before, and my family and I had gone down. We spent a lot of time on Lake Barkley during the week. Nice. And just thinking about what did I wanted to do when I grew up. I went and interviewed actually with a couple of environmental firms, Frankfurt, Lexington. I just couldn't get excited about that. It's just like, I just feel like I'm stuck behind a desk or stuck in an office doing work, making money for somebody else. And I did enjoy talking to people. My career didn't really allow me to have too much interface with other folks. So I started thinking, well, what is it that I wanted to do? And I had some good friends that helped counsel me through that. And I guess a load was lifted, and this may sound crazy, and it may just resonate with some of you. A load was lifted when actually a pastor friend of mine said, what are you sweating it for? As long as you are God's man in this world, it doesn't matter what you do. And I'm just thinking, that makes a lot of sense. So going through, I actually heard about an advisor out of Henderson by the name of Mark Weaver. He worked with a company named American Express Financial Advisors. They had an office, an employee office in Evansville. And short story long, I called and set up an appointment and met with a gentleman. That I went into the interview and we talked a little bit. And after I walked out of his office and I was there at the elevator, and I was getting ready to punch down. I don't know a thing about what he just told me. I don't know about this job, and I want to learn more. So I just did a U-turn, walked right back in, asked to see him again. And I guess that impressed him. So after a couple more interviews, he hired me, and I went to work for American Express Financial Advisors as a financial advisor in August of 2000. I remember one of the things he told me that really distressed me at the time. In the final interview, he said, David, I think you'll do very well in this job, but there's one thing that concerns me, and that is your drive. And that's like, what is he talking about? I mean, I'm ready to go, He said, no, the drive from Madisonville to Evansville. He's got a lot of time. But I will say, as Heather knows here, I could not have started in this business without the support of friends and family. There were a lot of naysayers. There were a lot of people that said, engineer, financial advisor, right, yeah, that'll last a long time. But my family stood behind me. We had two very young kids. My daughter had just been born, so I had an infant and a 3-year-old. My wife was a stay-at-home mom at the time, and so she bared the brunt of my hours. I drove back and forth to Evansville for 2 years, and I would leave the house 7:30 in the morning, and I would leave Evansville parking lot about 8:30 at night. That was our hours that we worked, so it's been a lot of time. So fast forward, after 2 years, I qualified to actually own a franchise. American Express at that time worked 2 ways. You could be an employee advisor, which you actually worked in an office. They paid you a set wage, which, by the way, my training wage after coming from an chief engineer's salary, I was making $6.60 an hour back in 2000. So that was an eye-opener. Hey, mine ain't overtime though. So, but we had a lot of support, worked a lot of hours, and it just, I guess it's what I told folks is that my job is to minimize surprises. I was not new out of college. I did have some life experiences, and I felt like I had a lot of empathy as far as being able to listen to people. And that must have resonated, because 2 years later, in 2002, I actually qualified to own a franchise. So I went from being an employee advisor to where they pay you a salary and commissions, mainly commissions, but they take care of all the expenses, to being a franchise owner to where basically you eat what you kill. And every expense is yours, every stamp, every computer, everything. So it was a fast track for me on trying to learn how to be a business owner, all the permits, the licenses, taxes. You got to put back some money for taxes. So it was a learning experience, but I felt like that was something that I really enjoyed doing. And I can tell you right now, no offense to any business owners in here, I don't think I could ever work for anybody again. I love being my own person. I love what I do. So what is it about what I do? So that 2002 brought me up to about 2005, and that's when American Express Financial Advisors spun off the advisors unit, and they decided to concentrate, American Express, the company, concentrated on their, of course, the card and travel-related services business. Spun off the financial advisors unit. And I think they just kind of, we were the redheaded stepchild, so to speak. You know, they never really gave us the advertising budget, and they just decided, well, they also cut off the leadership of the company and sent them with the company, which was a great thing. So in 2005, we became a publicly traded company, Ameriprise Financial, and I'm still a franchise owner, which means that I can pretty much do anything I want to in the franchise as long as it's legal, ethical, compliant. I don't have anybody calling me in the morning and say, you need to sell this, you need to push that. I can truly be independent, but I also have the background and resources of a Fortune 300 company. So, we back me close on time? Pardon?
How about questions?
Yeah.
What's the rest of your story?
Is there more?
Great question. I knew I'd spend too much time in early. In 05, so there was a gentleman that was what I'll say, a grandfathered advisor here in town. His name was Lowell Watson. He's from Webster County. I don't know if anybody knows Lowell. If you know Lowell, you know who I'm talking about. But he was retiring, and I was able to purchase his practice. That's the thing about being an independent contractor or an independent franchise advisor. We basically own the equity in our practice. So the more clients I acquire, the more I grow my business. That has a value that eventually when I retire, I can sell to someone. But I purchased his practice in '05, and that brought on another slug of clients, hired some more staff. In 2007 and 8, our company is the leader in financial planners, and they have more certified financial planners than any other financial services firm, so I thought that's something I need to do. So I tackled that, did the training and the testing. It's a 2-day test, so I became a certified financial planner, which brings me up to today. Again, still a lot of support from my family, but I opened the office in '02, 17 South Main Street, the old Roberts Drug Store. So in '08, we actually bought the building. My family and my wife and I bought the building, and it certainly has its own tax advantages there. So I still have an office at 17 South Main Street across from the old courthouse. But a very good event happened last year when Karen and the senior management team at First United Bank approached me to partner with them and be an advisor in their bank. It is a partnership. I'm not an employee of the bank. I don't have access to any of their information, nor do they have access to any of mine. But I do have a great visible presence in their lobby now, so I'm running 2 offices and really don't have any staff at the bank. When I'm there, just take my laptop, plug it in, and there we go. So I was able to meet with current and new bank clients as far as my existing book of business. And I guess what, a couple things that come to mind is that, that certainly everybody was entitled to their opinion. I would probably have looked at my journey back from becoming a pocket protector wearing bonehead engineer to being somebody that can sit and actually have a conversation across the table. I probably would have said, nah, not gonna happen, he'll wash out. But the one thing that I guess I kept in the back of my mind was, there's no plan B. I've made this choice, I'm gonna do it. I love what I do. I started in the business at, you would think, probably the worst possible time. Those that have been investing for a while think about the year 2000, 2001, 2002. The market kept going down, down, down. We had just come out of a big technology boom. You could pick any stock you wanted to back in 98, 99, make all the money you wanted to. And so now I'm in a business that it is rapidly spiraling out of control. And of course, the other hand, the coal business really picked up. So I'm sitting there 3 years into it going, what am I doing here? But actually, that time in the business was probably the best time to get into it because the market had done so well, stock market had done so well during the late 90s. When it started going down, nobody was calling their clients. Nobody in the financial services industry were reaching out to clients. So people that had concerns and fears were wanting to talk to anybody. So it allowed, people were willing to talk to me. So I actually did fairly well during that time. It was a great time to get in the business. Weathered 2008, if anybody been 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 2008, the downturn we had then when everything lost money except cash. Just being a sound of reason for my clients. What I tell them is I can't control the market, but what I can do is help control your reaction to it. And it's unfortunately, successful investing most of the time is boring. It really is. You hear the people that hit a startup or an IPO and, double their money in 2 weeks. Yeah, there's the occasion that you do that. But what you don't hear about is the ones that invested and lost half their money in 2 weeks. They don't like to tell you that. So I sit down and able to form a relationship with my client and just make sure that they have all the information they know to make the best decision for them and their family. 2 locations now. I'm licensed in multiple states. Still love what I do. The old saying that if you love your job, you never work a day in your life. That's true. I still get up. Both locations. Fairly active in the community. Have 2 children. One just is at the community college for the first year, and I've got a sophomore in high school, which we're playing volleyball tournaments right now. They won their game last night, so we played in the regional semifinals tonight at Webster County for volleyball. So it's just, I love what I do. I've got great support from the family. I feel like I've got a great client base. They've been very loyal to me, and still getting new clients. Yes, ma'am.
You're the only Ameriprise in town, is that true?
In
Is there-
Madisonville, correct.
Is there a territory thing, or as a franchise owner, how does that work? Because I know like there are other financial services companies where there are multiple ones in town and they're always training new people and putting them out there. So how does
Somebody
your-
could open up another Ameriprise practice here in town. In fact, probably the closest ones to here in Henderson. There's a couple of franchise groups in Henderson, and they have clients in Madisonville. I have clients in Henderson. Really, as long as I don't go approach another Ameriprise advisor's client and try to sway them to come to me, there's really no protected territory. You know, we're a franchise owner and we can run our franchises as we see fit. If we want to concentrate on financial planning, great. If we want to concentrate on individual stock selection as our expertise, great.
Is there are either one of your kids interested in moving
Good
into
point.
this?
I'm 52 years old. I know, it's a surprise.
I've seen your
52
personal-
years old, and eventually, sort of, I want to retire, and that is the thing about my franchise, is that I have equity in that practice as long as I, again, stay legal, ethical, compliant. That has a value that I can sell to someone later on down the line as I step out of the business. My son has indicated he's going to be a finance major, probably going to either Western or UK next year. Whether he fills my shoes or not is yet to be seen. He had a job this summer at First United Bank and loves the banking part of it. So I may have just lost him to go try to climb the ranks at a bank. But I don't know. But I do see me bringing someone on board in the next 5 years that have a succession plan with them to exit out of the business. So, great question. The stock market futures were flat this morning, in case anybody. Good day yesterday.
I assume you don't deal in derivatives.
Really don't. Great question. Some actually are
What are derivatives?
Okay, basically that's stock options.
very risky. Now, options, yes. Covered calls would be probably the safest one that we can do. Inverse ETFs, like you can buy a short ETF that says no matter if the market goes down, you'll make 3 times your money. Actually, our company prohibits us from soliciting that to clients. Anything that's very risky. Ameriprise is a very conservative company by nature, and very proud with what they've done through the collapse in 2008. They made clients whole that lost money in money market funds. So they have a set of guidelines that we have to follow, very compliant. Even though I own my own franchise, I have a compliance director. She's in very close contact. We've got a centralized supervision unit that anything I say, do, or whatever through email, correspondence, whatever, if there's something that they have a question on, they don't hesitate to contact me. So I've been in business 12 years, 14 years. It'll be my 15th year next year. Never has had any inspectors at all, except this summer, the state. I got a visit from the state securities, and everything's fine. No news is good news, so they came in, asked several questions. They'd never been visited an Ameriprise office before, but I guess they liked what they saw, and there we go. So no, I primarily on any investment products except commodities, derivatives, that thing. Any stock, bond, mutual funds such as that, insurance products, life, disability, long-term care. Those are my main lines. And financial planning. As I am a certified financial planner, I sit down with folks and help them kind of see where they are now and what it's going to take for them to get where they want to. Some of the most fulfilling times I've had is meeting with a client to say, guess what? You can retire next year if you want to. On the other hand, I've had some meetings where it's been a tough conversation. You just either got to save a lot more money or you're probably not going to be able to retire next year. But knowing that allows them to make the decision they need to do. Yes, sir.
David, in order to, would it be an option if you wanted to grow your footprint, your overall business book, to employ other brokers within your franchise?
I've had licensed folks in my franchise before, so yes, you can be a franchise owner and basically what that does, you just do it a lot cheaper. As a franchise owner, I pay franchise fees and compliance and legal and all the support. Anybody that works under me is a direct employee of me, and they don't have those expenses. Now, certainly, hopefully they will produce enough that would help offset some of the expense I take on to employ them. But yes, you can do it. And I am, as Carol said, I'm the only franchise owner here in Madisonville, but there's a pretty decent presence in Western Kentucky on into Evansville. Bowling Green, Hopkinsville does not have one. Paducah has kind of a part-time person. So, hopefully that answers your questions.
How do you bounce between the two offices? How do you work that?
I still haven't worked that out yet, have I? Last year, I spent much more time there because it was new, wanted to introduce. Right now, I've settled on 2 days a week at the bank and 3 days at the office. So I will start every morning at the downtown office, which I happen to live upstairs, so the commute is really short to work. So we actually moved into the old Roberts Drugstore building a couple of years ago. So I come downstairs, get the staff lined up for the day if I'm going to the bank, and then pack up the computer and head that way. Technology, Ameriprise has really embraced technology, so I can basically do what I do from anywhere, as long as I have an internet connection. Yes, ma'am.
Well, this isn't so much of a question as it is a statement. If you want to see Dave's house, you can see it on December 7th at the Women's Club Holiday Home Tour.
That was not my idea, by the way.
So if you want to see how, someone who's made their own way and is successful lives, there you go.
Well,
Tour his house.
upstairs is very unique, but the galleries who we bought it from, they had done a lot of the work to it. But it's interesting living downtown. Like I said, the commute is really, really short.
I'm friends with some other financial advisors,
Sure.
and they have a hard time taking vacation, and I was curious about how you.
That's very good. I had, up until about 3 or 4 years ago, I did have a very hard time with that. Couldn't go without the phone, computer. But it was a step in faith for me. I had a licensed advisor in the office at the time. I thought, I'm just going to let her do it. I'm purposely not going to call, knowing that if she absolutely needs a lifeline, she can get in touch with me. One of the best vacations I ever had. So you have to force yourself. It's still going to go on. Because I am a franchise owner, there is an 800 number that somebody has to buy 50 shares of Facebook today. They can call and get that accomplished for them if for some reason I'm not there. But it was a learning experience because being the engineer type, I didn't think anybody could do it better than me, and that's where I've struggled, is to step out and let other people help grow the practice group.
Any more questions for David?
You see yourself opening any more offices?
No, probably not. I've got all I can handle now. I think if I went that direction, I would be spread way too thin. And part of this business, in fact, 99% of this business is the relationship you build with your clients.
Well, thank you very much, David. We appreciate it. We've got announcements on the back, or some of you have announcements on the back of your sheet. There is a Build, Go, and Grow conference. It's going to be on the 14th and 15th of November. This is an entrepreneurial conference. If you're interested in that, there is a link to sign up. Sign up as soon as possible. There's also an entrepreneurial luncheon that we will be honoring all entrepreneurs on November the 18th. If you're an entrepreneur, your company has 2 free tickets, so please contact us. If you're not an entrepreneur but you'd like to go support this event, please contact our office and we'll get you set up with a ticket. The event will be at Great Mount Baptist Church in the Family Life Center. And we will also have our guest speaker will be Cameron Cushman, and he is formerly of the Kaufman Foundation. It should be a great luncheon. He will do a great job, and we're really excited with it. We're going to have 3 awards that will be presented that day. We'll have a Spirit Award, a Rising Star Award, and an Innovators Award. So this will be the first annual, and we're excited about that. If you have any questions, please feel free to see us. Otherwise, next week, I believe we have Ruby Concrete is gonna be presenting, and do you need to say what this is? We are booked for the next 3 weeks out. I know one of them's Ruby Concrete, I'm not sure who the second one is, but.
Because they number 9 is next week.
It is.
Yes, number 9.
Number 9,
That's right.
and Ruby Concrete will be tomorrow, will be next Wednesday. So come join us next
Number 9's probably
Wednesday.
gonna bring food. I will say for sure, because they probably are. They always do. They always show with food.
We hope they.
I want mine medium rare.
Ruth, you're out of time.
You're out of time. On Thursday mornings at Ollie's Party Place at Country Covered, we have another little meeting, it's little now, but it's growing. It's actually a networking meeting, and we started out really casual, where it was like, come by, get a cup of coffee, see people. Well, I know a lot of people don't have time for that if it's not gonna do anything with their business, but so now we've gotten to where we're more serious, we're doing actual sitting down, doing networking, want to grow the thing and turn it into a sort of a speed networking thing where people can get more leads for their business, come with business cards and ready to meet people. And it's 7:30 at Ollie's, which is the little building next to Country Covered. And that's where we're at right now. We hope to outgrow it really soon, so we can have a big booming, lots of people can meet new people and get their business going. If you are like a bank, send one of your marketing people. That would be so great to have some different people there, and we can all share leads and get to know each other. So thank you. Tomorrow morning, 7:30, Ollie's.
We'll see you next week at 1 million cups at 7:30. Come get caffeinated. Thank you, Dave.